In the latest depressing incident that shows how our police force has been turned into an adjunct to the local social services department, officers in Durham are to give free heroin to addicts. They say it can cut crime and save money. I say it's an offensive load of cobblers. It will cost £15,000 per addict per annum. And while it is reported heroin misuse costs the economy £15 billion each year, this won't help anyone actually kick the habit. All it will do is give them a clean fix. And what happens if one of the addicts returns to a life of crime after 2 years? Do we get our cash back? This is utter lunacy. And just when are our PCs going to stop being so PC?
Nick, so instinctively and emotionally, I agree with the headline, what you've just described. You know, why should we give heroin users free things just for them to commit crime and be awful? So instinctively and emotionally, you've got me. But have you ever been around heroin?
No.
Do you know? So I, unfortunately, have been around heroin. When I was growing up, I knew a lot of people that used heroin, and I lost a friend of mine, actually, to heroin.
Very sorry.
And I used to be like you, and I used to regard, I'm probably going to be offensive now, but I used to regard these people as smackheads, and I used to think they were awful, awful people that were the scourge on society and all the rest of it. And then I realised, actually, they don't start like that. What happens to them is they're ordinary people that have, you know, in lots of cases had challenges. They get onto a drug and then they become addicted to that drug. And that drug is absolutely disgusting. It wrecks the lives of the addicts and also the people around it. Now, to the point specifically about these shooting galleries, I think we're referring to them as. I've got some images to show you. These images have been taken in Wrexham at a bus station. So this is what's happening on our streets today. So you've got needles, used needles, we've got blood on the floor, we've got some others, we've got someone doing like a scalpel here with blood, we've got some more drug paraphernalia down the side of these are public spaces. So people are using heroin, fact. The use of heroin is increasing, fact, as is the deaths from heroin. Now, what we are currently doing isn't working, so we have to try alternative things. Now, I'm not sure if these things are the answer, but what we're currently doing isn't working. And what I don't want, Nick, I don't want walking down the street seeing that kind of stuff. I don't want innocent children going to the toilet, getting pricked by used needles. So if there is an option to trial, and let's be clear, this is a trial a safe environment where you can try and get these people off the drugs by, in one way, making sure that they get safe heroin, and the other way, making sure that they get support, I don't see the issue.
But, Michelle, how is it going to get someone off drugs? All it's going to do is give them a clean fix.
Well, no. So first of all, what they're going to be providing is a clean heroin. So one of the problems with drugs is often not the drug, but the stuff that it's cut with. Yeah. So they're going to provide clean substances, number one. Now, that alone is not going to stop it. That would just be a strange suggestion to make. I'm not suggesting that. But what they're then going to do is they're, number one, going to be protecting the rest of us from all of this. So that's point one that it's achieving. Point two is they will be then providing the support to get these addicts off them. And what I would say for drink and drugs, I think that drink and drugs are not necessarily the problem. They are the solution to people's reality. It's their realities that are the problem.
Well, you're nodding a lot, June.
I'm with Michelle.
Wow.
Explain why. The key is, right, everybody around this table, I imagine, would agree, it would be good to get these folk off drugs, right? Yeah. That is our goal, our ambition. Yeah. Giving him or her 15 grand's worth of free heroin, how's that going to get them off?
No, but you're just...
Well, they're not going to do that, or else they'd be dead, wouldn't they?
Exactly. You're like what Michelle just said, you're just looking at the headline, you know, the sort of controversial...
it's called the reality.
No, the controversial headline, when actually what Michelle is talking about is a programme that's put in place that starts with, we know that these people are addicts, so therefore we have to meet them where they are, provide them safe drugs for a period of time. I don't think they're giving them drugs indefinitely. It's for a period of time with support to then get them off drugs. So actually, I agree with it. We have to be realistic about where people are in order to be able to treat them.
Right.
I mean, if you read what Ron Hogg said, who's the police commissioner for Durham, he said UK is failing on drugs and desperately needs to try alternative approaches. Yeah. And I think we could all agree with that. Actually, drugs policy over many years... And actually, the reason why drugs policy has failed is that any sort of suggested change is attacked by people like you, or the Daily Mail Brigade and the rest of it. And therefore we've stuck to a policy that everybody knows isn't working. I remember talking to a Conservative MP once who said to me, I'm waiting for my last term when I've decided I'm not going to stand again, because then I can start pressing for some sort of proper drugs policy in this country. Our drugs policy has failed. Therefore, it's worth trying things. And therefore, it's worth trying this. Now, if it does... Now, what it mustn't be is, once we've done it, we're scared of coming back because it didn't work, which is a thing in most public sector organisations. They're all a bit scared of saying, we tried it, it didn't work. And then, of course, the Daily Mail would leap in and say, we told you so, as you...
Or Nick, not just the Daily Mail, Nick Ferrari, this is the Daily Mail.
You represent the Daily Mail.
Good. Where Nick is coming from on this is always judgmental. It's always offensive to Nick, but it's so not offensive to me. Drugs were legal in America, and until 1914. After America banned heroin and cocaine, then that was rolled out, and then drugs became illegal. GPs in the 60s used to treat heroin addiction as a disease, and you could walk into your surgery and you could get a prescription for clean heroin or methadone. So, Nick, what we're saying, what you are doing is you're forcing those who are sadly addicted to these substances to risk crime, death. You're forcing the addicts into lives of prostitution, burglary and crime, which, of course, rolls out throughout society.
Which is more expensive, as you said, £15 billion.
Let's get that. Let's just let the viewers get a good... This is what the drug use that costs society, £15.4 billion a year. And to underscore your point, crime committed by drug addicts, there's that figure, £13.9 billion. But Rachel, back to you. So let me just get this right? So in a town, we've got someone who is a heroin addict, who is stealing cars, robbing property, stealing people's handbags, knocking over old boys and running off with their wallets, and we reward him with 15 grand's worth of drugs.
You're using a loaded word like reward. What you're doing is you're giving him the availability of clean rather than contaminated heroin, which is going to destroy his body. And he's going to have a legal source of this heroin, which means, if you're on smack, you basically have to sell smack to be able to afford to buy it. So it's a sort of pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme where it sucks more and more people into it. So if you legalise the supply of heroin, you reduce crime in the area, which is why the police chief is so in favour of it.
So that criminal we're helping. Meanwhile, decent viewers who are watching this programme right now, who are waiting to have an operation, or their gran is waiting for an operation, we want absolutely no money for them.
They will be absolutely thrilled because the economy will be returned the $15 billion that is lost through drug use.
Hang on, Nick, you agreed when I said that our drugs policy has failed, right?
So what should we do?
What should we do?
I don't think you reward those who break the law with £15,000 bursaries each year. I've got an idea, though. Hold on. Because, as I often do, I like to bring solutions. Why not methadone, which costs £5,000 a year?
I'm fine with that.
Now,
Methadone's cool.
I start to see the argument.
You're saying there isn't methadone on this programme.
They're not. It's not methadone. What you're talking about is right.
But what I'm saying is, if now this is I've deliberately left to the end. If I'd said, but then we could do it for 5,000 instead of 50. Then I'm all for the trial.
Then I'm all for the trial. So you're not objecting to it in principle at all. It's only the money.
For
goodness sake, Nick. Why did you say it was offensive?
Well, I know 15,000
and why did you say that decent people wouldn't appreciate the scheme?
It's a lot of money. I know it's not much to you, but most folk, it's a lot of cash.
And you're thinking these people haven't thought about methadone and decided not to.
Well, why not do it then? Why not use it?
Because they
presumably looked at it and said, we think it's a way of being more.
You have that much confidence?
Yeah, I do.
You have that much confidence in public bodies in this country? You've run some of them.
I have that much confidence in somebody who's prepared to go out on a limb like this guy is. That's what I've got some...
Can I just make one point, because I feel very strongly about it? We talk about I hate drugs. I can't even put it into words what they do to families. But what I would say is we keep talking about addicts and addicts and addicts. Very few people are born addicts.
There you go.
People become I know.
But they do have addictive tendencies, Michelle.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, alcoholism is an inherited
Yes, but what I don't like...
Yeah, but hold on.
It's still legal,
No,
Nick.
please let me land my point, please, because it's important to me. And we're saying addicts as though these people are absolute scumbags. Some of these people, not all, some of these people are normal, decent people that something happens to them, they make the wrong choices, they take something that they should never have gotten involved with, and then they can't get their way out of it. It's just, it's an awful thing. And to your point, when I heard about these spaces, my initial reaction was to you, Why are they not giving them methadone? Why not? So that is the bit, and I will agree with you that that bit to me doesn't make sense. But I would assume /hope that the people have considered this. They've looked, because that's the obvious thing to bring you down using methadone. So the fact that they are not, I would trust that they have looked into this and there is a specific reason, and I don't know what that reason is, but I would agree with you.
And I would have thought that it's a means to an end. It's not for an indefinite period of time.